Okay, Rob, so you've just come out of the City press conference. What was the mood in there and what did Mancini have to say?
Well, he was in a good mood really, despite the pictures that came out yesterday. Obviously there was a bigger than usual audience for his press conference. He walked in and said, are we preparing for a Champions League final? So he was obviously in quite a good mood and a joking mood. Obviously all the talk was about Balotelli. And he didn't really say anything that we didn't expect. He said that these kind of things happen all the time, perhaps not between managers and players, usually between players and other players. And he explained it away as saying that Balotelli had made a rash challenge in training. Mancini had asked him to leave training as a punishment. Balotelli had said that he didn't want to leave, and that's when the scuffle broke out. He wasn't particularly apologetic. He says that Mario has to learn. If he'd done that kind of challenge on a Saturday, he would have been sent off, which is why he wanted him to leave to help him learn that you can't do those kind of things. And he just sort of brushed it off as one of those things that happened in training, and that no one would know if there was a big barrier around the training ground, which obviously there's not at City.
Did anyone put that to him about the training ground situation? What do you think?
Well, then it was something that he brought up himself. Really, he sort of said that it happened. It's happened all through his career as a player and a manager, and that usually these training grounds are secluded and well away from prying eyes. And obviously at City, most people know that there's public footpaths all around City's training ground, and there aren't many places where you can hide away, like perhaps at United or other clubs. And he simply said that if he had his way, that there would be trees and fences and all sorts guarding the training ground, but currently it's not possible for whatever reason. And obviously that's one of the reasons why these pictures have come out yesterday, when usually perhaps it would have gone unnoticed.
Did he give any indication as to whether Balotelli might come back in against Watford? I mean, might he use this as a spur for the striker?
Well, we were expecting him to be part of the squad for the Watford game anyway, because he'd been training for a couple of days now after recovering from a virus, and Mancini said that hasn't changed, that he's perhaps not fit enough to start the game,
right.
But he would be included in the squad depending on how he trains today. I'm still expecting him to be in the squad because obviously there's no Sergio Aguero tomorrow, so I don't think that's changed. And again, the question was put to him whether the incident yesterday changes that plan to put him in the squad, and Mancini sort of shrugged and said, why would it? It's a run-of-the-mill training ground incident, and Balotelli will be included in the squad as usual if he's fit enough to play. And
looking longer term, Mancini sticking to his line that he's got no intention of moving him on.
Yeah, I mean that's something that he said from the summer. There was interest from Italy and Paris Saint-Germain in the summer, and those bids, or that interest was rebuffed. Then he said since then that he's got no plans to sell it in January. I think that's even more the case with Sergio Aguero being injured. And he said all along that he hasn't got enough players to start selling or loaning players out. The question was asked again of Julian Lescott whether he would be allowed to leave, and the answer was the same, that he wouldn't. So longer term, especially in January, I don't think that Balotelli would be able to leave. That's the case in the summer if there was a big offer that came along, that I'm not sure. But in terms of chances that Balotelli is going to be afforded by Mancini said that he would give him 100 chances to grow up if that's what it took, and that sounds like the kind of line that means that he's going to be around for a long time.
And just finally, was there time for any other questions in there, or was it all Balotelli dominated?
No, there was. It lasted probably about half an hour, and there was one question about the Watford game, although the cameraman who asked the question did apologise by saying that he's probably going to annoy all his colleagues by asking a question about Watford and not Balotelli, which Mancini found quite funny. And in fairness, even though all the questions were about Balotelli, Mancini fronted up very well, and there was a bit of talk this morning whether it would be David Platt instead of Mancini coming to answer the questions. And in fairness to Mancini, he came in front of the press and he fronted up, explained what happened, answered all the questions that people had, and in my opinion dealt with the whole situation very well.
Good stuff. All right, thanks Rob.